Hi, my name is Kelly, and my fiance and I drive a 2016 BMW M3. We just wanted something that's fast and practical at the same time. And to us, we found the M3 as to be the perfect package. It's super practical, it gets good fuel economy. It's just like in terms of direct driver engagement, I wish it was a little bit more fun, I guess. We live in Queens, New York City. We deal with a lot of traffic, very little parking. Majority of parking we do is probably parallel parking. All the roads are completely congested. Traffic is a nightmare. So majority of the time this car is pretty much in stop and go traffic. You're just shifting to like first and second, first and second, first and second. That's what makes having a manual transmission car or even having a sports car tough, because the roads are terrible, especially when it's super stiff. And owning a manual transmission car is very hard too, because of stopping with traffic. But like whenever the road does clear up, that's when you really start appreciating, why, in those small times it's worth it.
I work in the Bronx, so early morning it's not the most fun, kind of a rough ride, but it grew on me, and I do like it. I do love it actually. I do love the way it looks. So it gets annoying at times, especially in traffic, but it's more fun for me at least. It keeps things interesting.
I mean, on paper, this M3 is definitely the best M3 they ever made, in my opinion. The downsides with this car is that in terms of the feel and the soul of the car, it is a bit lacking. And I feel like BMW just trying catering towards more broad market audience to get more sales probably. Driving is not all about numbers, it's all about that visceral feeling, that feel, the sound of the car. And the problem with this car is it's just kind of lacking in that feel department compared to the previous generation M3s.
Is this a breath of fresh air to anyone else? I meet a lot of car guys, and more often than not, when asked about their cars, these guys are exceedingly positive. And rightfully so. Cars are like children. We pour our time, money, and emotion into them, trying to sculpt them into something that society will deem acceptable. So saying something bad about your own car is kind of like trash talking your own kid. But damn, is honesty refreshing. Kelly's points about his car may be confusing. Why would you buy a car that you don't seem to like? He does like it, he just expects a lot from a $70,000 car. BMW's move to electric-assisted power steering in the F80 M3, which this is, over hydraulically assisted power steering, has been criticized for sapping steering feel. The twin-turbo, straight-six direct-injection, double Vanos, iron-infused aluminum block S55 engine replaces the sonorous, naturally aspirated straight-sixes and V8s of past M cars, again with much derision from the purist community. Features like an auto-rev match downshift system and speakers which pipe a digital soundtrack of engine noise into the cabin have been criticized for inauthenticating the driving experience of what should be one of the most engaging vehicles in the world. And I admire Kelly's willingness to tell it like it is. He's not whitewashing the truth, trying to make his car sound like one of the best cars ever just because it's the car that he and Steph bought. But it is one of the best cars ever. At least one of the best cars we've ever driven. The steering, while perhaps electrically assisted, still provides tons of feedback and is weighted heavily on a short rack to give every increment of steering input significance. The motor, while not naturally aspirated, provides torque at all times and far too much power for the 275mm rear tires to cope with. The traction control system had to work overtime during our stint with the car. Turned off, the M would roast the back tires at half throttle, and the rev matching, automated though it may be, is faster and more competent than I am. The 2016 F80 M3 is an engaging and well-rounded sports car, hindered only by its total lack of an exhaust note. So how could Kelly and I have come away with such different impressions of the same car? Well, I have a theory, corroborated in some part by Kelly and Stephanie themselves, that any lack of engagement they feel is based on where they live. These beautiful folks hail from Queens in New York City, an urban jungle of potholes and 25-mile-an-hour speed limits. I've been there and it's no fun to drive. The city is designed on a grid system, meaning there are literally no curves. The car would be understandably less engaging in an environment like that, where its lack of an engine sound exists without the S55's immense grunt to make up for it, where its harsh suspension only bounces over road imperfections, rather than loading up sublimely mid-corner. Because by the end of our time together in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, Kelly was having a ball. Away from the city, with roads with actual corners, this car was intoxicating.
I was just so focused on driving that like a lot of the downsides of the car kind of just like, just kind of forget about it.
It's pretty fun. So, I mean, as long as it gets me from point A to B and it's fun to drive, then I'm okay with it.
So the takeaway from this is that your enjoyment of any particular car will vary on whether you're driving it in the environment where it's built to shine. An M3 in New York? Maybe not. But the backroads of Pennsylvania? Yes, please. Also, don't be a purist. Whenever you discount anything just because it's not naturally aspirated, or it's not a straight six, or it's not air-cooled, or whatever, you're missing out on experiences. Go and drive an F80 M3 on a nice back road, and then we can talk about purity.